All right. All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. It's another Friday, so we call this by the fireside, right? The Ghana those days, you go and sit by someone, they tell you a lot of stories. This time we are using the same strategy to learn, strategies that will actually help us become smart financially, so we can, create, manage, preserve, be able to transfer good wealth to our children whilst training them to also become smarter about their money. The goal is, if we're able to amass $10 million in our lifetime, we should be able to transfer to our children. So in their lifetime, they should be able to increase it from 10 million to 100 million. And they pass it on to their grandchildren. Their grandchildren pass it on to 100 million to what, $1 billion. That's how we go. So it's good. We are back here on the richest man in Babylon. In the first, so last week we did the first chapter. Let's recall real quick. What were some of the lessons we learned from chapter one? What are some of the things that we you remember from the review of chapter one of the richest man in Babylon?
Realizing where you are,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
then realizing where you are, and then also the realization that if you are living in a rich environment, let's say, or a wealthy environment, and you are not partaking in that wealth or those riches, how do you get to partake in that? By um, uh, being ready to learn from those who are making it, being coachable, being ready to learn from those who are making it. And then when
Absolutely.
you are and when you are going, don't go by yourself. Don't
Don't
be
be
selfish.
selfish.
Take someone along.
Someone with you.
All
That's
right.
what I remember from the last time.
Absolutely. And so remember, from yesterday, from last week, we said that if you have um, if you take this book and you are reading, there are certain things that will help you to put a book in perspective and simplify the lesson, so you can categorize it and be able to apply it as quickly as possible. First one, and then we have three categories, right? First one is realizing where you are. That's what we call recognition, right? Recognize where you are, recognize what got you to where you are, and then the second one is plan. What Now that I know how I got to where I am, what do I want to do? What are some of the things I need to do to get me to where I need to be, right? So, first lesson is recognition. You know where you are, you know what got you to where you are, and the things that you are currently doing. Now, the second part, which is actually the planning phase, is where you actually take where you are and then see where you want to be, and now you make plans on how to get there. Now the plans you make may not be clear. It may just, the only thing you need is just start with the idea, the desire, right? You have the desire that, okay, this is where I am. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to be at point B, this at this point, right? Now the only thing is just know something to do, have an idea of what you can do, right? And then the third one is where you actually take action, like act on it immediately. So you recognize, you plan, and the third one is you take action. There's no point in recognizing and planning without taking action. You'll still be exactly where you are. There's no point in recognizing and not planning. You still be where you are. But when we put all these three things together, you see things will change. So the first one, if we know about Akkad and his friend Kobe, first they realized where they were. The first thing was they know where they are right now because of decisions they've made in the past. And from the just a review of the chapter one, we realized that Kobe became a musician, Akkad became a chariot maker, and they prospered in those areas because they learned it, they focused on it. In this world, you will never prosper in something you have never put your energy in. You never prosper in something you've never focused in. Because he focused on becoming a musician, he is the best musician in the whole of Babylon. Because he focused on building chariots, he became the best chariot builder in Babylon. And so you cannot focus on one thing and expect results from another thing. That is the very first lesson. So they recognize where they were, recognize what got them to where they are now, and realize that if we don't have money because we have never focused on money, we have never learned about how to amass money, and so then they now have to focus on how to amass money, how to make money, and so they make those plans, and now the next one is take action. They decided they are going to see what Akkad, who has supposedly become the richest man in Babylon, and learn how he became wealthy so he can teach them how they can also become wealthy. Right? So recognize, plan, act. All right. So this is chapter 2. The richest now. They've go back a little bit. Go back a little bit to the last page. All right. So look at here. Here it said, "Let us go to Akkad this very day." Bansier urged, "Also, let us ask other friends of our boyhood days who have fared no better than ourselves to join us that they too may share in his wisdom." So they are going to Akkad to go and learn from the richest man in Babylon how he became wealthy, so that they can also can enjoy from that wisdom. And they are not going alone; they are going with friends. This is the kind of friends you want to have, the friends that want to pull you up from where you are. All right. So they went, and now they are in the presence of the richest man in Babylon. That starts from chapter 2. Let's go to chapter 2. All right. So now the richest man in Babylon. In old Babylon, there once lived a certain very rich man named Akkad. Far and wide, he was famed for his great wealth. Also was he famed for his liberality. He was generous in his charities. He was generous with his family. He was liberal in his own expenses. But nevertheless, each year his wealth increased more rapidly than he spent it. Is that not interesting? Mm-hmm. You know, Solomon says something in the book of Proverbs. He said there's one that scatters, but increases. There's another that keepeth, but always decreases. Right? This guy is spending, giving a lot of money out. He's doing a lot of charity, work, but his wealth is increasing. Is that not interesting? How many people actually become wealthy by giving? If you go to someone and say, "Hey, you want to be wealthy," one of the very, very simple and basic ways to actually make money or become wealthy, build wealth and stuff like that is to start with a giver's mindset. Start to give. If somebody will just tell you, me, you cry, me, I don't even have the little I have. You want me to come and give it to you? You want me to come and give you the little I have to? No, me, I don't make so much, so I want to wait to make money before I actually give some to people. And that is a very wrong way of approaching it. Because if you make $10,000 a year and you don't give, I promise you, if you make $50,000 a year, you will not give. You make $100,000 a year, you will not give. Because giving is not the money, it is the act, the habit you create by giving. It doesn't matter how small. Once you start small, when your income increases, that is the only way you'll be able to give more. So start it, do it now. All right. Right. And there were certain friends of younger days who came to him and said, "You, Akkad, are more fortunate than we. You have become the richest man in all Babylon, while we struggle for existence. You can wear the finest garments and you can enjoy the rarest food, while we must be content if we can clothe our families in raiment that is presentable and feed them as best we can. Yet, once we were equal, we studied under the same master, we played in the same games, and in neither the studies nor the games did you outshine us. And in the years since, you have been no more honorable citizen than we, nor have you worked harder or more faithfully. Insofar as we can judge, why then should a fickle fate single you out to enjoy all the good things of life and ignore us who are equally deserving?" Thereupon Akkad remonstrated with them, saying, "If you have not acquired more than a bare existence in the years since we were youth, it is because you either have failed to learn the laws that govern the building of wealth, or else you do not observe them." If you have not acquired more than a bare existence in the years since, as years since we were youth, it is because you either have failed to learn the laws that govern the building of wealth, number one, or else you do not observe them. What do you make of this statement? What do you make of this statement? If you don't have money, one is because you don't know the laws that govern building wealth, or you don't observe them.
You know it, but you don't observe it.
You know them, but you don't observe them. So there's one thing to know, and there's one thing to do what you know. Right? So he continues. Fickle fate is a vicious goddess who brings no permanent good to anyone. On the contrary, she brings ruin to almost every man upon whom she showers unearned gold. She makes wanton spenders who soon dissipate all they receive and are left beset by overwhelming appetite and desires they have not the ability to gratify. Yet others whom she favors become misers and hoard their wealth, fearing to spend what they have, knowing they do not possess the ability to replace it. The further are beset by fear of robbers and doom themselves to lives of emptiness and secret misery. You know, it's interesting when there are different types of people, right? There are some that have money, they don't spend it because they don't know how to replace it when they spend it, right? There are some that also, like he's saying over here, they have money, but they won't spend at all, right? They won't spend, they will hoard it, fearing to spend what they have, knowing they do not possess the ability to replace it. Yeah, that's what we said earlier. And those that are also afraid that thieves and robbers and all these people will also come and steal their money. But you're hoarding that money. Use it, spend it on something. But unfortunately, people don't. And this is typical of us. A lot of people, that's what they do. Like, they have money, they get some money, and they're afraid that somebody will come and steal them. They will keep it somewhere in the bank. They will be, eating things that, they can eat better, but they don't because they want to keep their money. However, the money is not even working for them. All right, let's go on. Others there probably are who can take unearned gold and add it to it and continue to be happy and contented citizens. But so few are they, I know of them, but they are hearsay. Think you of the men who have inherited sudden wealth and see if these things are not so. Think about all the people that inherit wealth. You remember last time, the last session, we were talking about people that win the lottery, right? Yeah. How many people win the lottery and then 10 years later they still have money? 10 years is even a long time. Let's say 1 year. 1 year later they still have a lot of money. How about the people like those footballers or sportsmen and musicians and all this, entertainment people? How many of them move out of their profession and are still able to maintain their wealth? Right. So last time we understood that being wealthy is not a problem. It's not a matter of how much money you have, but the person you become by acquiring that money. All right. And so think you of the men who have inherited sudden wealth and see if this is an also. People who inherit wealth, they are afraid to spend. Some of them are afraid to spend it because when they spend it, they don't know how to replace it. And some of them they just spend it and they don't know how to replace it, and it just dissipates. Think about the prodigal son in the Bible. He got a lot of money and then went and kaboom, spent that money. The money was gone. Now he had to, come back to his father, right? At least he was smart enough to come back to his father. All right, let's continue. His friends admitted that of the men they knew who had inherited wealth, these words were true, and they besought him to explain to them how he had become possessed of so much prosperity. So he continued, in my youth, I looked about me and saw all the good things they were to bring happiness and contentment. And I realized that wealth increases the potency of all things. Wealth is a power. With wealth, many things are possible. You all know the famous Bible scripture, with God, all things are possible, right? But this one is saying, with wealth, many things are possible. Take your Bible, open to something, open to Ecclesiastes chapter 10. If you have a Bible, open to Ecclesiastes chapter 10 real quick. Let me show you a cross reference to what this thing is saying over here real quick. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, I think verse 19, 18 or 19. Hold on. Yes, verse 19. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19.
The bread is made for laughter. Wine then gladdens life, and money answers everything.
Isn't it amazing? Said, with wealth, many things are possible. In Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19, said, a feast is made for laughter. A wine maketh merry, but money answers all things. So if you have never had money, you've never had a lot of money, or you've never had the opportunity to earn money in so much that it is more than what you need, you never understand this, right? Imagine you have the ability to buy whatever you want to buy, all right, to pay for your immediate necessities and not have to worry about where the next bill is going to come from, how you're going to pay your bills and stuff like that. And now you have extra money remaining that you can buy something that you really want. What do you think is going to happen? How do you think you're going to feel? Money answers all things. That is God's word. So knowledge about money is scripture. Learn about money, use money, because money will answer a lot of things. Like answers all things. All right. Ever
Yep.
So one may ornament the home with the riches of furnishing. He's giving examples here. Now, if you go to someone's house, how do you know someone has money? What are some of the signs, or how do you know someone has money?
How the home is, or how the house is, how it's been decorated.
Okay, how the house has been decorated. Just the kind of furniture in the house, the kind of decoration in the house, the kind of the interior design of the home. Even from the outside, as soon as you see the outside, at least you can tell how the inside will be like. Except for some American homes, the outside, it is nothing. You enter, it's like, wow, this is nice, right? But the interior design tells you the wealth. You can range that person on a wealth scale where that person is. All right, so you go to someone's home and like it's not really, there isn't so much, they have just enough to sit on and stuff like that. You say, well, yeah, this person is doing well, but this person is not. We can't say this person is wealthy, right? But go to someone's home and you just look at what they have in the home, just in the furnishing. You know that wealth makes many things possible. The one may sail the distant seas. One may feast on the delicacies of far lands. One may buy the ornament of gold worker and the stone polisher. One may even build mighty temples for the gods. One may do all these things and many more, in which there is delight for the senses and gratification for the soul. Money answers everything. And let's continue. And when I realized all these, so look at this. He sat down. This is, you see why he's also coming back with the realization, right? When I realized all this, I decided to myself that I would claim my share of the good things of life. I would not be one of those who stand afar off, enviously watching others enjoy. I would not be content to clothe myself in the cheapest raiment that looked respectable. I will not be satisfied with the lot of a poor man. On the contrary, I will make myself a guest at this banquet, good things. I will make myself the guest of the banquet of good things. What do you think? What do you think he's doing over here? What is this? What is this here? What do you think this guy Akkad is displaying over here at this point in just this paragraph?
It looks like one day when he too was on their shoes, right? So he was telling them that he realized, so he was on that position before they decide to learn something, and then he's showing it to them. That's what my understanding.
Decision. The point of decision. I see where I am. I know where I could be, and so I want to make that step, take that step. Now you see the three categories that you use to evaluate this reading. First one is recognition. Now you see where the recognition, he's recognized his situation. Now, how did he move from the person that he was to the person that he wants to become? Because just the mere fact that you have the desire doesn't make you wealthy. It is a starting point of all achievements. All right. So let's continue over here. Being, as you know, the son of a humble merchant, one of a large family with no hope of an inheritance, and not being endowed, as you have so frankly said, with superior powers or wisdom, I decided that if I was to achieve what I desired, time and study would be required. Think about it. Time and study will be required. What do you think he's doing here? Planning. As for time, all men have it in abundance, yet each of you have let slip by sufficient time to have made yourself wealthy. Yet you admit you have nothing to show except your good families, of which you can be justly proud. We all have the same amount of time. But how come some people are able to make more with the same amount of time than other people? As for study, see, he's talking about time. Andrew, go up a little bit. Let me show you this one. So the three things he's talking about here, right? Each of you have what? I decided that if I was to achieve what I desired, time and study would be required. Two things. I need time. I need what? Study. I need knowledge. So for me to know how to amass wealth, I have to learn how to amass wealth. And time, everyone has it at their disposal. All right, let's go on. Go to the next one. All right. As for study, did not our wise teacher teach us that learning was of two kinds? The one kind being the things we learned and knew, and the other being the training that taught us how to find out what we did not know. Of learning, there are two kinds. One is learning the things we learned and knew, and the other kind is the training that taught us how to find out what we did not know. So one is learning the things you know, the other one is learning what you do not know, right? Therefore did I decide to find out how one might accumulate wealth, and when I had found out, to make this my task and do it well. For it is not wise that we should enjoy while we dwell in the brightness of the sunshine, for sorrows enough shall descend upon us when we depart for the darkness of the world of spirits. I found employment as a scribe in the hall of records. Now look at this. So the realization came. He made his plan, time and learning. He made his plan. He's taken action. Right. I found employment as a scribe in the hall of records, and long hours each day I labored upon the clay tables. Week after week and month after month I labored, yet for my earnings I had naught to show. Food and clothing and penance to the gods, and other things of which I could remember not. Not what? Absorbed all my earnings, but my determination did not leave me. You may not get the results you are looking for in the first places that you look. Efo ganyo. You may not get the determination, you may not get the things you are looking for in the first places that you look. But if you, the only time that you actually lose out, miss out, is when you let that determination leave you.
Yes.
You let go of the ball. When you let go of your vision, your desire, that's when everything changes. Isaac, you wanna add something? Looks like you have you want to add something over here. Say again.
Now, so as you read it, like teaching, I saw one things we learn anew, and then this came into mind. Like it's the same thing, like teaching and then training. When you are being taught, the training is imparting the skills that imparting what the knowledge that you got through the skills that leads to training. So it's the same thing. Like I'm seeing, like the things we learn anew is different from finding out what we did not know. So it's like teaching and then training.
Yeah. All right. So let's go on. And one day, Algamish, the money lender. Now, just this statement. If you want to learn about money, who do you go to? You go to the carpenter, go to the bricklayer, you go to the driver to learn about money.
The one who knows about money.
One who knows about money. Or the one that works with money.
Yeah.
And one day, Algamish, the money lender, came to the house of the city master and ordered a copy of the 9th law. And he said to me, I must have this in 2 days. And if this task is done by that time, 2 coppers will I give to thee. So I labored hard, but the law was long. Oh, wait, there's somebody behind the door. So I labored hard, but the law was long. And when Algamish returned, the task was unfinished. He was angry, and had I been one of his slaves, or had I been his slave, he would have beaten me. But knowing the city master would not permit him to injure me, I was unafraid. So I said to him, Algamish, you are a very rich man. Tell me how I may also become rich. And all night I will carve upon the clay, and when the sun rises, it shall be completed. Is it what is going on? If you don't seek, you will never find. It's only the one who is not hungry that when you give any kind of food, they tell you that, oh, this food doesn't taste good, this food doesn't look good. If someone is hungry, they will eat anything you give them. If someone is really hungry, they will eat anything you give them. So he labored. So I labored hard, but the law was long. The law was long, but he labored hard. Now let's see what happened next. He smiled at me and replied, you are a forward nerve, but we will call it a bargain. Boom, the deal is done. So I'm gonna spend the whole night, carve the law on the clay tablets. All right, you know this clay tablet, they have to carve it and then bake it so that it doesn't erode. So they carve it, bake it, and make it ready so that the person will come in the morning, come and carry all those clay tablets away. All that night I carved, though my back pained and the smell of the wick made my head ache until my eyes could hardly see. All the night I carved, though my back pained and the smell of the wick made my head ache until my eyes could hardly see. But when he returned at sunup, the tablets were complete. Now I said, tell me what you promised. Now that I've done what I've done, I've kept my part of the bargain, you to keep your part of the bargain. All right? You have fulfilled your part of our bargain, my son, he said to me kindly, and I'm ready to fulfill mine. I will tell you these things I will tell you these things you wish to know, because I am becoming an old man, and an old tongue loves to wag. And when youth comes to age when youth comes to age for advice, he received the wisdom of years. I think when the youth goes to the older people to receive an advice, they receive the wisdom of years. But too often does your youth think that age knows only the wisdom of days that are gone, and therefore profits not. But remember this: the sun that shines today is the sun that shone when thy father was born, and will still be shining when thy last grandchild shall pass into the darkness. Right? Nothing new under the sun.
New under the sun. Yeah.
Right. All right. Go to the next one. The thoughts of youth, he continued, are bright lights that shine forth like the meteors that oft make brilliant the sky. But the wisdom of age is like the fixed stars that shine so unchanged that the sailors may depend upon them to steer his course. Mark you well my words, for if you do not, you
will fail.
If you do not, you will fail to grasp the truth that I will tell you, and you will think that your night's work have been in vain. Then he looked at me shrewdly from under his shaggy brow and said in a low, forceful tone, I found the road to wealth when I decided that a part of all I earned was mine to keep, and so will you. Then he continued to look at me with a glance that I could feel pierce me, but said no more. Is that all? I asked. That was sufficient to change the heart of a sheep herder into the heart of a money lender, he replied. But all I earn is mine to keep, is it not? I demanded. Far from it, he replied. Do you not pay the garment maker? Do you not pay the sandal maker? Do you not pay for the things you eat? Can you live in Babylon without spending? What have you to show for your earnings of the past month? What for the past year? Fool, you pay to everyone but yourself. Dullard, you labor for others. You might as well be a slave and work for what your masters give you to eat and wear. If you do not keep for yourself 1/10 of all you earn, how much will you have in 10 years? You have nothing. And it's interesting, like you work, you make an income, you pay everything. You pay your rent, you pay your if you have car payment, you make a car payment. If you have electricity bill, your gas or whatever you have, you buy dresses, you buy food, you buy this, you buy that. By the time the month is over, all the money is almost gone. But you, the person that worked hard for the money, you have nothing to show for it, because you didn't pay yourself. You know what is interesting? As our income increases, guess what? Our expenditure also increases. So someone will be very good right now driving a Toyota Corolla. The person, drives them wherever they want to go. They live in a 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom apartment or 2-bedroom apartment right now. They are fine. As soon as their income changes, then the one that drives Corolla is now looking to buy a Mercedes Benz or maybe a BMW or maybe a Tesla in this day and age. And now the payment that probably he was paying $100 now goes up to $400, $500. So all the extra money you are making is now going into what is now being drained into something else. You continue to stay in that same condition. So saving is a habit, not how much. So here, what the lesson is teaching here is that if you don't pay yourself first, how much will you have in the next 10 years? Because the next 10 years, you'll still eat, you'll still wear clothing, you'll still wear sandals, you'll still wear shoes and stuff like that. Nothing about what your expenditure will change, which means if all you are making is what you are using to pay for all the things that you have, guess what? 10 years to come, you'll be exactly where you are. And that's the situation that a lot of people are in right now. We make money, we spend 2 years later, we are where we are. 5, 10 years, we are exactly where we are. We make enough to pay for all our expenses. We are exactly where we are. There are people in their mid-50s. They are getting ready to retire. They are seeing the end of the road, but they have nothing to show for it. And so people panic. And now all this, stress begins to accumulate, and all this high blood pressure and cholesterol issues and diabetes and all the stroke and all these things begin to accumulate and begin to show up. All these things could have been prevented if with proper financial planning.
Dr. Marcus, question.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I saw within one of the paragraph, he said, so I labored hard, but the law was long.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about law, is a set of rules that define the correct procedure. So he was given the 9th law, but he said he labored hard. So he worked really hard, but the laws were long. And then he said to himself that, so if I've engaged myself in servitude or slavery, he would have beaten me. So I'm asking that, is there, for instance, I can say I work 15 hours on the computer. That is a law. That is favorable to me. That's why I became worthy. So are the laws that so if, for instance, I have my own laws by which I became worthy, is it applicable to everyone or is just me?
So you are getting it wrong. The law that he said, the law that Algamish asked him to write, is not like a law that he's applying. There are laws. Like let's talk about let's say he comes to you to write the 10 Commandments on a tablet for me. That's what he's saying, right? I need you to write these things for me, right? So it's not talking about the law that he's going to use, but he's talking about the law. Those days they didn't have books and computers and stuff like that as we have today. So most of this knowledge, they inscribed them on clay tablets. So he came to him to write the 9th law on a clay tablet for him. He was a scribe. What do scribes do? Scribes write.
Right, yeah.
Scribes write. So he came to him and said, hey, write it for me. But because the law was long, he couldn't finish by the time he came back. And he was saying that if I was his slave, because he told me to do something I didn't finish, he would have beaten me. Makes sense? Yeah. So it's not like...
I understand. I'm just challenging it to our modern days. Like, is there maybe, for instance, if he said I labored hard, like if I work really hard, I sit on the computer for 15 hours, and because of that, it has made me worthy. So if I apply all these laws on my own self, like if I apply these laws and then I became worthy, is it applicable? Like, for instance, I'm sharing business ideas with somebody. Can I tell the person, oh, I did this and did that? That is why I've reached this age. But maybe it will not be applicable to the same person. For instance, I don't sleep. I work really hard on the computer, 15 hours. I make sure that my budget surplus is small and then I don't overspend. And I give this idea to someone. Is it applicable to everyone or is it just because it's me?
No, it's applicable to everyone. So here's the thing. The principles of wealth accumulation is not only for some people.
Okay.
These are principles. So if you live by those principles, you get the results, right? And this book, as we go forward in the next chapter, he will actually teach you. You talk about the 7 laws of money. You actually look at what you should do, to help you accumulate wealth. So he's going to teach. He will teach everything. Here, he is talking about how he became wealthy, how he became wealthy from nothing. And so anyone who is nothing right now, who has no money right now, can also learn those principles and also become wealthy just by those lessons. Here, he's talking about how he got the understanding, or he got the knowledge, the initial lesson in money making. Remember, he wanted to learn 2 things. First thing, we wanted 2 things. First thing is we all have time. For you to know anything, you need time and study. And that's what he mentioned in there. Time, everybody has time. You all have 24 hours. God will not say that because, this person is tall, this person is short, this person is yellow, this person is pink. I'll give this person 25 hours and I'll give the other one like 5 hours. No, we all have the same amount of time. But it's the study that changes everything. There are some people that study to know, and there are some people that study to do, that study to use. That is where the difference is. So Akkad here was looking for, how can I amass wealth? Who can I learn from? And luckily enough, he found a money lender. And who was best enough to teach about money other than what? The money lender. That's why I said, okay, now if I can sit down, because even though the law is long, I can stay awake the whole night to write it to create to write it on a clay tablet for you, to inscribe it for you. And when you come, you teach me how I can also become wealthy. And that was the agreement. So he came back and it was done, and boom, that's why he's teaching him. The first thing is save a portion of everything that you make. Save a portion of everything that you make. If you don't save a portion of everything, you don't pay yourself first. You are digging your grave for yourself. Like from the first day, the first income you make, start saving a portion of that. And you have to be consistent with that savings. That's why he asks over here, if you don't save, look at over here, if you do not keep for yourself 1/10 of all you earn, how much will you have in 10 years? If you spend all the money you make on expenses and all those things, how much money will you make in the next 10 years? You'll still be exactly where you are with no money. Makes sense? So the first lesson is that save 1/10 of all you earn. Now, this is talking about 1/10. Based on who you are, where you are, you can save 15%, you can save 20%, you can save 25%, and live on the remaining. So let's say if you make $1,000 a month, you can save $100 and then live life as if you only earn $900. All right. If you save $5,000 a month, you can save. If you make $5,000 a month, you can save $500 a month, or you can save $1,000 a month and live on $4,000 as if that is the amount that you make for the month. And you'll be, so long as you follow certain principles, you'll be able to live on $4,000 just as much as you live on $5,000. And that is the lesson that follows this particular one, right? So this one is teaching us that whilst you have what we should understand from the beginning is you have to save a portion of all that you earn for yourself, because you worked hard for it, you earned it, you have to pay yourself first. All right. Let's go to the next chapter. My knowledge of the numbers did not forsake me, and I answered, as much as I earn in 1 year. Think about this. So if you save 10% of what you make right now, every month, in 10 years, guess what? You have in 10 years all that you earn in 1 year. You have saved all that you earn in 1 year. Makes sense. Yeah. So you are saving in 12 months. So 12 months you're saving 10%, 10%. In 10 years you'd have saved a whole year's income. And that's why whenever we look at all these people that have a 401k, IRA, Roth IRA, and they are talking about, I'm saving 10% and stuff like that. Even the 10%, think about it, you need 10 years? 10 years. You save for 10 years. 10 years to take care of 1 year. So if you work for 50 years, you're only saving 5 years of income. So if you don't put that money you are saving into some productive use, that money, make sure, and then the book will talk about it, make sure you don't lose any part of the money you're saving. Make sure you are getting consistent interest growth on that money. You are shooting yourself in the foot back, because you can never save enough to retire. All right, now let's continue. Now this is what he says. You speak but have the truth, he retorted. Every gold piece you save is a slave to work for you. Look at that. So now the money you are saving, you are just not saving under your pillow. You are saving that money so that money will work for you. Every copper it earns is its child that also can earn for you. If you would become wealthy, then what you save must earn, and its children must earn, that all may help to give to you the abundance you crave. So your principal must earn interest. Your interest must earn more interest. Your interest must earn more interest. So your slave must earn money for you. Your slave's children must earn money for you. Your slave children's children must earn money for you, so that your wealth will grow, because you can never save enough. to retire, can never save enough to live in the future. Think about it. If you save every 10 years, you save 1 year of income. Every 12 years, every 12 months, you save 1 year of income. Every 12 months, you save 1 month of income. So every 12 years, you save 5 years of income. No, wait. Every 12 months, you save 1 year of income. Right?
12 months.
Every 12 months, because if you're saving 10%, every 12 months, you've saved 1 year income.
No,
Every 12 months, you save 1 month's income.
Mhm.
Right? So 10% times 12, you save 1 month's income. But let's make it 10. So at least the math will be easier. So every 10 years that you work, you save 10%, you only save 1 year. So every 10 years you work, you only save 1 year of income. So if you work for 50 years, you have the amount you have saved without any interest will only take care of you for 5 years. But it is not the saving it's not only the saving that makes the difference, but the saving and the interest that you earn on that saving. And this book talks about that as well. We've got the math messed up over there, but it's all right. So you think I cheat you for your long night's work. He continued, but I'm paying you 1,000 times over if you have the intelligence to grasp the truth I offer you. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. It should be not less than 1/10, no matter how little you earn. This is the magic here. It should not be less than 1/10. That's why I said you can save 15%, 20%, 25%, but at minimum, you should save about 10%. At minimum, you should save about 10%. It should not be less than 10%. Now, it can be as much more as you can afford. Pay yourself first. Do not buy from the clothes maker and the sandal maker more than you can pay out of the rest and still have enough for food and charity and penance to the gods. So you pay yourself first, and then the remaining amount that you have, live on that amount as if that's the amount that you made. Wealth, like a tree, grows from a tiny seed. This is beautiful. Wealth, like a tree, grows from a tiny seed. The first copper you save is the seed from which your tree of wealth shall grow. The sooner you plant that seed, the sooner shall that tree grow. So there are a lot of people that say that, oh, I'm still young, and so I want to wait, I still have time. No, you don't. No, you don't. Think about somebody that's planting a mango tree. If I plant a mango tree today, and you wait to plant a mango tree in the next 10 years, who do you think will start having fruit on their tree? Or who do you think will have more fruit on their tree in the next 15 years? I will, because my mango tree will already be established and producing tree many years over. Your tree will probably have just started fruiting, and your income will be little. The fruit you get on it will be little. So you start sooner. The sooner you start, the better wealth you build. And the more faithfully you would nourish and water that tree with consistent savings, the sooner may you bask in contentment beneath its shade. Imagine planting a tree and not take care of that tree. It becomes stunted growth. The tree will be there. You see the tree standing there, but there will be nothing. There will be no nourishment coming from that tree. That's because it's stunted. But you put the tree you put a seed in the ground. It becomes a seedling. Eventually becomes a tree. You take care of it, and guess what? It blossoms. So saying, he took his tablets and went away. I thought much about what he had said to me, and it seemed reasonable. So I decided that I would try it. Each time I was paid, I took one from each 10 pieces of copper and hid it away. And strange as it may seem, I was no shorter of funds than before. I noticed little difference as I managed to get along without it. But often I was tempted as my hoard began to grow to spend it for some of the good things the merchants displayed, brought by camels and ships from a lot of Phoenicians, but I wisely refrained. I was no shorter of funds than before. Even though he started saving one copper coin out of every 10 copper coin he earns, he realized that his life never changed. He was still able to get by just like that. So it is not about how much you make. It's about what you do with how much you make. There are people that are making $100,000 a month, $100,000 a year here in the United States, and we talk to a lot of those people, and they are struggling financially. And there are people that make $40,000 a year, and they are living just fine. And so, very, very, very important. Very, 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 very important that if you save 10%, you can live your life. You'll be unaffected. It will not affect. You will not feel that you save 10% of that money. And especially in the financial services business where we are in, when you make money, all right? When you make money, you save that 10%, and with the knowledge that we have, put that 10% to good use, and we will learn from here. And all the principles that we teach people, we help people understand about investing, about understanding about savings and everything. This book had clearly spread it out. Let your investment work for you. Let your investments children work for you, and continuously make more money. Let your money become your slave. Let that slave work for you. Let that slave make more money, and over and over and over and over again. All right, let's go on real quick. We have 5 more minutes. A 12 months after Agamish had gone, he again returned and said to me, "Son, have you paid to yourself no less than 1/10 of all you have earned for the past year?" I answered proudly, "Yes, master, I have." "That is good," he answered, beaming upon me. "And what have you done with it?" Now, here comes the second part. All right, here comes the second part. I think we are running out of time, so we will leave it here. But look at it. So he's now on a journey of becoming wealthy. He met a wealthy person, taught him how to actually start the journey of becoming wealthy. So what is the first action? First action is save 10% of what? Save no less than 10% of everything that you earn. So he started, and 12 months later, he has saved some money. So 12 months later, the rich man comes back and say, "Hey, did you do what I asked you to do?" He said, "Yes." And he was proud that he had some money, right? And he said, "Now, what have you done with that money?" There's one thing to save the money, and there's that one thing to use that money or invest that money wisely. And that's what next section is going to talk about. He has saved the money now. Now, what is he going to do with the money? He said, "I've given it to Asma, the brick maker." Think about it. How do you save money with a brick maker? If it comes to things of brick making or building and stuff like that, go talk to a brick maker, because that's his specialty.